Hello friends, welcome to our channel KAAL The History, where we apprise you of the important historical events which one should certainly know, along with the ancient, medieval and the modern history in order to enhance your knowledge. But before we move on, I request you to kindly subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for the latest updates. Hello friends, are you really aware of the 12 most deadliest wars in history? If not, this video will help you out for this. Well friends, on number 12 comes the Second Congo War. The Second Congo War happened in the year 1998 and lasted till 2003, which was one of the deadliest wars in history and the deadliest in modern African history. This war spanned over a period of 5 years and caused the death of around 5.4 million people. Although the genocides accounted for a large number of casualties, diseases and famine caused by the war were also partially responsible. Then comes the Napoleonic War. The Napoleonic Wars started in the year 1803 and lasted till 1815, pitted the French Empire and its allies against a coalition of European powers. The Napoleonic Wars refers to a series of conflicts between the French Empire and the coalitions that fought it. The War of the Third Coalition, the Fourth, the Fifth, the Sixth and Seventh and final coalition. During this period, it is estimated that around 3.5 to 6 million people were killed as a direct or indirect result of the war. Friends, then comes the 30 Years' War. Yes, friends, as the name implies, the 30 Years' War was fought between Catholic and Protestant states in Central Europe from 1618 to 1648. The conflicts eventually drew in the great powers of Europe, resulting in one of the longest, most destructive and deadliest conflicts in European history. It is estimated that the war was responsible for the deaths of 8 million civilians and military personnel alike. Then comes the Chinese Civil War, which started in August 1927 between the government-backed Kuomintang and the Communist Party of China. The massacres and mass atrocities carried out by both parties resulted in more than 8 million casualties by 1950. Talking about the Russian Civil War, friends, this claimed the lives of more than 9 million people, 8 million of whom were civilians. The war spanned from 1917 to 1922, immediately after the Russian Revolution of 1917. And it was fought between opposing political factions, namely the Red Army and the White Army. Friends, the Dungan Revolt was a war fought between the Hans, the Chinese ethnic group native to East Asia, and the Huis, Chinese Muslims in 19th century China during the Qing Dynasty. There were approximately 20 million war-related deaths, most caused by famine and migration brought about by the war. Then comes the Lushan Rebellion. The Lushan Rebellion was a rebellion against the Tang Dynasty of China between 755 AD and 763 AD. Although it is difficult to accurately report the death toll, census reports taken the years following the war imply that around 36 million people were killed, or about two-thirds of the population of the empire. Then comes the World War I. The First World War was fought between the Allies and the Central Powers. The war lasted for 4 years from 1914 to 1918, but it was responsible for around 18 million deaths. Of the 18 million deaths, about 11 million were military personnel and about 7 million were civilians. Friends, then follows the Taiping War, yet another war in China. The Taiping Rebellion was another large-scale rebellion that was fought between 1850 and 1864. The war was fought between the Qing Dynasty and the Christian millenarian movement of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. Although there isn't an exact number, of most estimations have the Taiping Rebellion responsible for 20 to 30 million deaths. The Qing Dynasty conquest of all the Ming Dynasty. Yes friends, the transition from the Qing Dynasty to the Ming Dynasty was anything but peaceful. The rebellion waged for over 60 years from 1680 to 1683 and resulted in the deaths of 25 million people. What started as a relatively small rebellion in northeastern China ultimately resulted in one of the country's deadliest conflicts as well as one of the deadliest wars in history. And of course, the Second Sino-Japanese War. The Second Sino-Japanese War was waged between 1937 and 1945 between the Republic of China's National Revolutionary Army and the Imperial Japanese Army. It is widely believed that the war began with the Marco Polo Bridge incident and it later escalated to an all-out war that resulted in 25 million civilian deaths and over 4 million Chinese and Japanese military deaths. And of course, the World War II. World War II was a global war that spanned from 1939 to 1945. The war pitted the Allies and the Axis power in the deadliest war in the history and was responsible for the deaths of over 70 million people. So friends, if you like this video, kindly share it with your friends and your loved ones. Take care, keep smiling, much love.